Happy Friday! It's Fierce Female Friday, and we are all here together to learn and laugh. I feel there's going to be some good laughter happening today. My goodness. If you are watching us live, please let us know where you are coming from today. Are you home? Are you somewhere warm and comfortable? It's rainy here in Seattle, so I'm thinking about a nice big glass of red wine in front of a fireplace in a few hours. Eek. Let's see, as you are all coming in, make sure, just let us know you can hear us, you can see us, again, where you're watching from. We have a couple of updates in the WomanUP community that we want to make sure that we get to you. And then we want to dig into a conversation with DeAnn Golden. You are going to love this woman. Okay, so let's see. 2/10 next Wednesday is our very first Wisdom Series session of 2021. And the topic is how to refocus when your business plan goes out the window. Come on now. Did that happen to anybody in the last 12 months? Yep. So Christine George is going to be joined by an amazing panel of women. Kate Reisinger she's with leading real estate companies of the world. She's out of Chicago. Melissa Sophia, who many of you have seen and heard in the past on the WomanUP stage. She's down in San Diego. And then Sharika Johnson is joining us again. You'll remember she's from Longview, Texas. Brand new brokerage within the last 3 years. So these three women are joining Christine for a fantastic conversation on the 10th. So next Wednesday, 11 a.m. Pacific time, hit up iamwomanup.com/wisdom series for the link to register. Grab your seat now. And then we just confirmed this last night. Our book club for February is going to be Beloved by Toni Morrison.
I'm excited.
I have not read this book since I was a senior in high school, and I cannot wait to revisit it, especially after watching the whole documentary of her life. Oh, she's just such a spitfire. Anyways, Kama and Sabrina have agreed to lead us in the discussion again. They did such a spectacular job for us last year, leading a couple of our book club discussions around white fragility. And did they join us for another one? They're always in the room at the book club. But they are going to help us lead the discussion around Beloved. That's 2/24. So that's the last Wednesday of the month at 11 a.m. Pacific time. So Wisdom Series next Wednesday. Then the 24th of February is Beloved by Toni Morrison. We hope that you join us for that. And Sarah, we have a really fun update from CAR.
I'm so excited. Can you hear me? Because my microphone on Zoom is acting funny. Okay. Yes?
We can totally hear you. Yeah.
Yay. Okay. Hi, everyone. I was looking around for my book because not only are we wearing red, but I took off the cover for Beloved and it's red. Like the book is so beautiful. So I'm really excited about that. CAR is on TV. We're going to be on TV. Yay. We have actually, as a part of our consumer ad campaign here in California, have been given the opportunity to partner with ABC and this is we are the premier sponsor, the presenting sponsor for the documentary California Dreamin'. And it's airing tomorrow, February 6th at 9, and we'll come back around the following Saturday, February 13th, also at 9. And it features our president, Dave Walsh, and it talks about the challenges the state of California is facing, very many wildfires, all of the things that are unique to California, but very interesting. We'll post the link to the trailer in the chat, and that's pretty much my update. And I'm really excited about it. Kudos to Anna Fermos, our CMO, and the entire team that works with our ad agency to get this going and get this on TV.
We're on TV. I love that. Leslie, what's on your mind, sister?
Well, I missed the book club this month that did How Women Rise. And we actually scheduled another one this week that didn't have a lot of people were very busy this week, but I read the book. I had some resistance to the title How Women Rise. It was just a little too, I don't know what for me, but I got into it. And I just want to say, for anyone that hasn't read it, it's just incredible. It's excellent. These two world-renowned leadership coaches who have just a wealth of info. And essentially what they've done is kind of reworked a book that came out a number of years ago called What Got You Here Won't Get You There. But it was really directed towards kind of the male view. And what they've gone back and revisited, because women have different issues typically, right? We're typically not, arrogant and just all the balls to the wall stuff that men kind of are in that track. We have the other problem. And so they go through it, and there's like 12 habits that they identify. And the two that resonated with me the most were habit 9, which was minimizing, and habit 10, which was too much, right? So my whole life, I've always felt that I was too much. And in terms of minimizing, you grow up in a world where your ideal woman is Audrey Hepburn, at least for me, and to be honest, that's just never going to happen for me. That just isn't it. And I remember speaking to a friend several years ago and saying, I just really want to lose all this weight, and I really want to be small. And she looked at me, and her name's Valerie Torelli. Some of you may know Valerie.
Love Valerie.
Looked at me and she said, "Why would you want to be small?" And it just clicked for me, like, oh my God, it's just all these years of don't make waves and make everybody happy and please everybody and just don't, So anyway, those were the two that really stood out for me. And then the other thing I wanted to talk briefly about is, I know you're probably all too well aware of my relationship with John Tasillo and just this incredible love affair I'm having. And we've been together for over 3 years, but we've been living together in Sarasota for almost a year. It'll be a year, March 12th. And I feel like I've got a guy in a petri dish, right? Because I really do observe him, because he's the nicest guy, and he's like the smartest person I know, but he's also a guy, that was raised in an Italian family in Queens. So there you go. And he's not really, he's a few years older than I am, but he's kind of part greatest generation and part millennial. He's not a boomer, but he's just kind of a weird combination. What's great is you can always call him out on behavior if I need to, and he's very receptive. We work things through, but there were a couple things that were mentioned in the book that I just thought of him. For example, we're one of those couples that watch Jeopardy every night. Like, I finally am one of those. And, he just yells out almost every answer, and he's wrong part of the time, but even with the wrong answer, he's so confident, it's just like confidence, and then, oh, well, let's move on. Then there's another story in the book about looking at how men and women react when a new person comes in the room, and how the female response is largely, let me make room for you, let me move over, let me pull my books in, let me make room for you at the table. And men don't do that. And I have noticed that as well. He has a group that he has coffee with. There's 2 guys. John's the youngster in this group, and they talk about politics and whatever. And I showed up one day just to pick him up, and I was going to sit and have coffee with them, and nobody moved. Like, nobody moved, and I found my place, and then just this whole thing. The last thing I want to talk about is I've always been challenged by sports. I've just never kind of gotten it. It's a ball, folks. It's a game. Like, excuse me, like what is this? And if you've seen Fran Lebowitz in Martin Scorsese and Pretend It's a City, it's on Netflix. So she has this whole episode talking about sports, and Spike Lee is interviewing her, and she's explaining that she went to the most amazing fight ever, the Muhammad Ali, Frazier fight, that is like the best fight in the whole world that's ever happened. And for her, it was like, she went for the fashion, the way people dressed back then. And there was kind of this fight going on that kind of mucked everything up, and just hearing her say that, I thought, oh, my soul sister, because it just isn't clicking. And yet I am living with someone who college basketball, the knowledge runs this deep. And he's run the scoreboard at the Georgetown. He went to Georgetown at the Georgetown home basketball games for almost 50 years. He has worked the scoreboard at that, the table. And so anyway, I just want to say I'm having great fun. I love men. John is the love of my life, but men and women, viva la difference. And let's keep doing what we're doing, right, in terms of the table. And then finally, just if you haven't read it, I'm going to pass this on to my daughters. It's just a really great book. So that's what's on my mind.
I love it. So much goodness.
So good. Viva la difference.
Exactly. There's beautiful divine differences for sure. I love it. And there's laughter in the stream, Leslie, about the man in a petri dish. That's so funny.
Let's try this and see what happens.
Yeah, that's so great. That's so great. Well, let me share a little bit about DeAnn before we dig into our conversation with our leader this week. So DeAnn Golden is the regional manager and senior VP at Berkshire Hathaway Home Services Georgia property. So we have a Georgia peach in the house. This is very exciting. She is a native of Athens, Georgia. Man, that just makes me want to sit up and like a Greek goddess in the house. She was licensed in 95. So she's been around the block in real estate. So she has seen it, heard it, and done it. So listen up, right? She earned her MBA in that year and also got her license. And then in 2000, she became a broker. She got a broker's license. She is, however, a trainer and a coach at heart. And she believes that every day should be filled with learning and discovery to come alive more and more in life. Oh my goodness. Welcome, 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 DeAnn. I love that quote.
Oh, it's so great to be with you. And Deborah, first time I met you, it was just over a year ago. You lit up the stage and it's just so fun to be with you, even on opposite sides of the country. And Leslie, I got to just chime in. First of all, we can never have enough of you. I got to have you here in Atlanta about 2 years ago on stage. And little did I know, but John, when he wrote, what was it, the 8 rules of real estate?
Right.
It always stood out. I've got his book on my shelf back here. I didn't put that together. That's why I'm over here and laughing. But he talked, you go home and you tell him tonight, I was talking.
Oh, John, come here.
Oh gosh, John.
He's going to come say hi. Come say hi. DeAnn Golden's talking about having your 8 rules of real estate book on her shelf.
All right. All right. That must have been the copy I sold.
Nobody tell him what I just said about him, okay?
Okay. Thumbs the word.
John,
Hi, John.
Hello, Sarah. Hi, Deborah.
Hi, hon.
I just had to go there for a moment because talk about, Deborah, just what you do, the power connections. John, awesome to see you. Go write another book for us. Tell us how to navigate these times, and I'll buy the first copy.
Okay, no, you got it. I'll leave an autograph. Okay, good to see you guys.
Well, all of you are probably noticing a theme here. Zared and DeAnn, this is serendipity right here. So I shot Leslie and Sarah a message saying, it's Wear Red Day. Put something on that's red. And DeAnn is going to talk to us about why we're all wearing red, because this is super important to her and we didn't even know it. So tell us about the Wear Red Day.
Well, ladies, again, it just shows that you believe in helping women and raising awareness on what matters so that we can work, but also take care of our health and care for others. And ladies out there listening, and gentlemen too, 1 in 3 women will die from cardiovascular disease. And that is a statistic that's oftentimes gets overlooked and it's not known. And unfortunately, I came to know all too much about the impact of cardiovascular disease by losing my husband in 2017 after about a 4-year battle with stroke and heart attack. And I resolved that when, I was able to try to keep moving on and find ways to help. I realized that as caretakers, particularly as women, we need to be mindful of this. And so something that I am just co-chairing this year, just out of my heart and to hopefully inspire my children, is I'm proud to be co-chair of Go Red this year. And today is National Go Red Day. So reach out, call 3 women, tell them to take care of their health, tell them to check in to the Go Red websites on Facebook or Instagram. You can learn so much about having a healthy diet, healthy lifestyle, healthy mindset. And then we can be better prepared to take care of what we call in the Go Red world, the heartthrobs of our life. So thank you. And thank you, ladies, for having our red on today. It's just a great reminder. We need to remind ourselves every day, actually.
Yes, absolutely.
And we'll share that link in the chat below. So thank you for that. Deborah, I think you're on mute.
I am on mute. I think you're up. I think we let's actually now that we've talked about red, let's talk about this year. Okay, so wow, what a stressful year for a lot of people. The last 12 months have really been stressful. And I love that we're focused on, taking care of our hearts, because that's very important. But what's been going on with you over the last 12 months? How's 2020 been so far for you, DeAnn?
2020, I think, like with everyone probably on this call and listening, it taught us that we do have resolve as human beings. That just when you paint the perfect business plan for the year, the perfect goals for the year, not only in the normal world are they too easy to get away from, but then something happens that you could not have anticipated, and what happened this year, the entire world met with at once. And the power of community, the power of people wanting to connect and just get back to picking up the phone and calling. I mean, even the power of Zoom, being able to do this today, which we would have probably never done this to the extent or the impact that we can do in an instant and be able to connect and collaborate and share ideas and help each other. The pivot to home working, for me, did just affirm that I did not miss my calling as a stay-at-home homeschooling mom. If I ever had thought that might have been something I would do, I quickly learned, and I have so much respect and admiration for the teachers that are working with the youth and doing what they do. I have the pleasure and privilege of training adults and working with them. And we pivoted to this world and did over 130 video Zoom training sessions during COVID. I mean, talk about building content overnight that we've been talking about building for 10 years. It was built in a matter of months. But I think it's also made us all step back and realize the fragility and preciousness of life. I had learned that again a couple of years ago, and it just kind of came to the forefront again with this. And we're going to get through this, and it's going to make us better, and it's going to make us stronger. And I think for a lot of us, it's just reminded us to be grateful and rise every day and have our affirmations and gratitudes and connect with other amazing people, because it's that precious.
Yeah, hear, hear.
DeAnn, you are speaking the WomanUP language, and I feel your energy jumping out of my Zoom screen. I have just met DeAnn, and I have a girl crush on you already. So thank you so much for being here. And I want to learn more about your journey to regional manager and senior VP at Berkshire Hathaway there in Atlanta. So can you tell us about your journey to that? What was that path? And did you, take those opportunities? Were they handed to you? Tell us a little bit about that.
I'll give you the quick version. Actually, it even kind of starts back 1978. I'm second generation daughter of a broker. And some that have heard my story, they know that to earn a penny a postcard to help my mom hand address her open house postcards back in the day. Now, this was back when like the MLS books, those were called booster seats when you're the kid of a broker, okay? Strap on, go right around. The MLS books were outdated by the time we got them, right? So, a little bit of my career starts that far back ago, 43 years, just to kind of put it in perspective. When I was 8. But flash forward, was not going to do real estate, was going to go get my MBA, was going to go into the corporate world, was a pharmaceutical rep for a while, was going to do anything but what mom did. Well, funny how that happens when you need a job to pay for grad school. Mom needed a receptionist. So there I was working on my MBA, and she needed a receptionist. And she'd also let me stay in a room back at home and get fed. I said, I can do this. So flash forward, you know, those opportunities kept happening. And those that know me know I'm a big, you know, you got to live to your why, but I also believe you got to go, why not? When somebody like Sheryl Sandberg's like one of my just like girl crush. I mean, I just think the COO former of Facebook is amazing. The book she wrote, Lean In, you know, she says when given a ride on a rocket ship, just strap in, just go, don't ask which seat, just get on it and ride. And I think, Sarah, kind of the short version of where I am and what I've done is when people that I believe in and I admire kind of come to me and say, hey, I want you to try this. I want you to do this. And I kind of go, not me. I don't know. Me, I mean, I don't know what I would be doing. I don't know what that is. I just kind of have followed the confidence that they think that they can help me grow. And long story short, power of collaboration again led to me meeting who ultimately would be my senior vice president and my CEO. We were simply networking about a competitor in 2003 and got to know each other, just really collaborating in 2 different cities, trying to arm ourselves with, you know, how new competitors were coming into the business. Again, it goes kind of back to John's book, Leslie, that he was talking about back then, you know, all the competitors. And then an opening came open and they picked up the phone and they say, you know, we don't know if we could ever recruit you from your mom, but would you consider a career in Atlanta, Georgia? And that was in 2004. I said, why not? Teach me what I need to know what to do. I don't know that I know what to do, but if you'll give me a shot, I'm willing to learn. And it's been a gift to be here with Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, Georgia Properties, 17 years, different seats, different roles, kind of the good to great, get the right people on the bus. Hopefully I do okay, maybe not always the right person all the time doing the right things, but, you know, and then get them in the right seat. I'm a big believer in that. And I think that helps you grow. And at the end of the day, you know, Sarah and Leslie, Deborah, it's just, I think with all of us here on this call, we get inspired by being around other people. And really, I think that's what's been the most fulfilling. And knowing that we're opening doors and guiding people home and helping them with their next moves and good times, bad times.
So good.
You know, I keep thinking you must know Mary Lee Blaylock and Martha Mosier, right? Who are just huge people for us in California. So, yeah.
A week ago, again, back to that power of collaboration, had a situation, wanted to collaborate with one of the brightest minds I knew she'd gone through something similar, picked up the phone on her cell phone, CEO of BHHS California, answers that.
It's amazing. Yeah.
So yes, they're amazing.
So speaking of other women, I'm sure you have a ton of advice or hard-fought realizations in all the years that you've been doing this, right? Because it's the challenges that make us stronger. So what would be some of your kind of core pieces of advice that you could share with other leaders or potential leaders?
You know, I think the number one thing is be you. People will sometimes try to teach you or coach you or ask you to be someone that you're not at your core values. And you got to stay true to your true north and your compass. You got to listen to coaches. You got to listen to constructive feedback. You got to be willing to look in the mirror and realize that, you know, there's a lot of improvement and a lot of self-work that can go on there, but you've got to stay true to yourself. I also had the saying that, you know, be the energy that you want to feel in a room, you know, be the energy that you want to see admitted and be that kind of guiding light. I think so often if you're in a difficult situation or a difficult place, you know, and there's this heaviness, but if you walk in with just this, let's reach a positive, let's reach a win-win, let's remember at the end of the day, what's really most important. That's probably my second one. And then, you know, I said it earlier, but, you know, that kind of why not? And why not you? You know, why shouldn't it be you, Deborah, doing what you do right now? I mean, I've heard your story. Look at you. You know, Leslie, I've watched you and I've heard you, and you know, most revered, you know, person in your industry and what you do. And Sarah, I mean, just your energy coming through and what you're doing. I'm sure that with all of us, there's fear, there's self-doubt, there's, I know I'm going to mess up every day. I've just resolved I'm going to, and I'm sorry, and let me do better, or let me try again, is okay to say too. And I think that's important. But those were probably off the top. Be you, be true to yourself, be the energy you want to be, live each day, focus on the moments. I always talk about golden moments, find those golden moments in your day and really cherish them. And, last but not least, instead of kind of should, would, could, just do it. Just
Do it. Right.
Wouldn't it be amazing if we all just, I love what you said, just resolve to the fact that we will fail, but it's really how we take that failure and learn from it and grow. I think that's a common thread that we have in the WomanUP community, but as leaders, no matter what gender you are, I mean, that is definitely something that we all grapple with, right? It's how we take that lesson. I love that. That was beautiful.
That's there really well.
And I think, that the reality, ladies, is that failure doesn't actually exist as we've been taught it exists. It's never an end. It's
Yeah.
a part of a journey. And I'm reading, or listening rather, to Sacred Contracts. And this woman is talking about how we've had so much focus on this term of failure that we've created so much fear around doing things the wrong way, that we've missed out on the true beauty of actually the lesson of, oh, that didn't work. Like, and similar to what Leslie was saying earlier with John shouting out the wrong answers during Jeopardy. Like,
Yeah.
Not always wrong, but
not always wrong, but
Is he listening?
she didn't say you were always wrong, John, we swear. But the confidence it doesn't matter if it's the wrong answer, I'm going to shout it out. Like, that is definitely something that men are better at, but they still are held back by fear in some ways of not. It might not be in having the right answer, but it shows in different ways. And so if we can all flip that script in our minds on really failure isn't a destination. It's just part of our journey. And it's like, oh, okay, well, that didn't work. I'm not going to do that again.
you look at how we all were as children, right? And children just take a stab at it, get a go. Sure, I can try this, and what happened to that attitude over the years? That's what everybody should reclaim, that fearlessness, or unselfconscious,
10-year-old
whatever it is.
Yes.
Yeah.
With their superhero capes. Well, I think we're taught to unlearn that,
Right. Absolutely.
It was trained out of us. And, the last 12 months, one of the biggest gifts has been all of the walk time that I've had and all of the books that I've been able to listen to and all of the different perspectives about things. And again, I think that we as women have a lot of things to unlearn. And that is a process. And it's harder to actually unlearn than it is to learn. And so it takes a muscle that we're not used to. And the beauty of our community is we are unlearning by learning different ways of doing things, which I think has the abundance side of unlearning, right? Unlearning can feel like a negative, like, oh, I have to unlearn.
And it's more effective. It's more effective to focus on what you are doing, not what you're leaving behind.
Yes. Amen.
Yep.
Amen. Well, and one of the topics that we, of the monthly topics, our topic in January is business planning. We're talking about business planning as everyone's kind of business planning or zhuzhing their business plan, or maybe you're lighting it on fire. I don't know what it is that you're doing with your business plan right now. But, looking at ways that we can flip our failures from 2020, what did we learn, and infusing it into what we're doing this year, there is so much power in looking at it that way. Like, how do I take what didn't work and see how I can make it work? And so I know this is something you are passionate about, DeAnn. I know you love the conversation around business planning. So what What are some of your wisdom pearls that you can share with the community on, tools, tips, resources, those things that you speak into people about business planning?
Sure, I'd be happy to, because I think I started teaching business planning right as I came out with an MBA in 1995, and by 2000 I started teaching realtors every year business planning. And what has been fascinating about this year's business planning is I look back to where we were a year ago, and as we all poured ourselves, into writing those business plans going into 2020, none of us had the foresight or the vision to know what was going to come in our way. And so one of the exercises that I did with our team that I was working with was I said, okay, first, before we go to write our 2021, I want to go pull up our 2020. And I want to not look at not what we couldn't do because of COVID or thought we couldn't do, or what we didn't do because of whatever X, Y, or Z excuse we might try to sign. But I want us to reframe and look at how we pivoted and what we did do. I mean, we moved to doing things on Zoom, on virtual caravans, on virtual open houses, on virtual showings, on, communication, on, I just finished reading Jeb Blount's book on virtual selling. And if you've not read that, put that on your list, whether you're in sales or in any kind of management. But I asked us all to look at not what we didn't get to accomplish in COVID, but how we learned to basically just put it in reverse shift and turn right and go forward, maybe in a different lane. So with this year's vision or business planning, big on visioning. Huge on visioning. Start with the end in mind, because whatever's going to happen in that day-to-day to-do list, if I keep my vision focused on the end, you're going to have a better shot at arriving there. And it may not come from point A to point B to point C, but focus on what matters most. And those we always talk about those high net gain activities that really move the dial. And I think a lot of us realized too this year that time management, more than ever, as Zoom did come into the world, a whole new dimension of time-mageddon, if you will, and Zoom fatigue was the piece. So for us, we really have been taking business planning is now we've always said we should review it quarterly. We're going to really do it this year. We're going to really pause, because this past year taught that more than ever before. And I've been reading, I had pulled this book out, The 10X by Grant Cardone, and it's the 10X rule. And he's got just some, if you don't have a business plan, you can just Google them up. NAR has some fabulous ones too, just to put in a mention of that. I'm going to be one of the, Mega Board Forum directors this year. So I'm excited, but you can find templated business plans, but bottom line, vision board and have a plan. I don't even care if it's on the back of an envelope. If it's one you believe in.
So true.
I write it down.
Mirror. If you go to my home, you will see my top 5 goals written on my bathroom mirror. And this has been kind of a fun book that really gets into the thought process of what kind of actions were you doing when you felt you were winning? What came in your life as you were growing up that you think might be impacting? Leslie, you just hit it. As kids, we had no limitation. We were also great negotiators as kids, if you think about it. Mom, can I have a Coke? No, DeAnn. Well, Mom, can I how about half a Coke? No, DeAnn. Well, Mom, can I have high C with lots of other, sugar? But you kept coming back. But as adults, when somebody says no, what happens?
So true.
I think that's something, I kind of got a little off tangent on the business planning, but do get in a mindset. And last thing, no matter how you business plan, and connect with me on LinkedIn. I'm happy to share some tips and some thoughts, but I think the biggest key in today's world is having an accountability partner or partners. Have somebody, one in your personal life that you're comfortable sharing your plan and your goals and your vision. Have somebody professional. Have somebody that you can talk through and dialogue with and work through those things that might be thwarting your ability to push through. If you hit a roadblock, what is it? Zig Ziglar says, it's not how hard you fall, it's how high you bounce. That
good one, yeah.
Bounce. When you fail, you're gonna fail. And it's okay to have a pity party. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to mourn the loss of a spouse. It's okay to realize that we're not, gonna always have everything happy, and we're gonna have bad days and good days. But, don't stay down in that lull. Find a reason to bounce back, as Zig would tell us.
I love that. My goodness. So many beautiful tips and tricks and mindset shifts. I love it. I'm a poet. That was just a rhyme.
I
think.
know that could be a rap.
I don't know where that came from, but before we move on from that, I want to give a plug to the mentor program, like on the WomanUP Facebook group. If you're thinking, I don't have someone to do that with, like there are dozens of women who have already raised their hand to say, I want to help. And so if you are a new broker and you don't have somebody that you have that relationship with, click that. It's like in the call on the left-hand column on the Facebook group, like go click the button that says mentorship and get connected with someone, because it is so powerful having someone you can actually be vulnerable with and really, really dig into the details. I think that's so beautiful. Thank you, DeAnn.
I absolutely love that. Speaking of wisdom and mentoring, DeAnn, I'd love to know what your favorite topic is to either mentor or share advice with the people you are, mentoring or needing to share advice with.
That's a great question, because I know when I come at it with business planning, I mean, there's a big portion of it that's life coaching too, and looking at the kind of the 5 balls that we all juggle, from finances and spiritual and family and business and health. And so a big part of, even back to the business planning, we assess that. What are those personal achievements? And to that visioning, I would encourage you, if you have children, do vision boarding with your children or with your spouse or with your friends or with a mother or a parent or a sister or whoever, or just a friend, because that's really grounding. But it's been many years, but the COO of, I think it was Coca-Cola Enterprises, spoke at a commencement. It's been many years, but this probably spoke to me so much, and I probably tried to share this with so many people, is that, think about life as a game of juggling those balls, and you name what your balls are, work, family, health, friends, spirit, whatever yours may be, find what your balls are. And, if you do the right things and the right actions, you're going to keep these all going, and they're going to keep moving, even if you have to take your eye away from a couple of them here or there. But there's some that, they're made of glass. And if you take your eye off your health, or you take your eye off your family, you drop one of these and it's like, it shatters. All the others are bouncing balls. They're rubber. You do the right actions in your business, you do the right actions in certain areas of your life, it's going to keep bouncing forward. But there's just these certain non-negotiables in your life that I think, what I try to now, having again lost my husband, realize that, I won't have that time back with him. You got to keep what's the main priorities, those glass fragile balls, always close to your heart. Don't let that one be the one that you lose sight of for a minute, much like to your health. So again, maybe not what you would expect from business, but it's something that, I feel that it's a part of what I need to do to help others remember that we've only got a short period of time. So let's live it loud. Let's live it large. That's what my husband told me to do. As Jim Rohn always said, wherever you are, be there. Right now I'm with you 3 superstar amazing ladies in the Facebook community. Of course, I'm always worrying about my children, because that's just, the loves of my life. But I'm not thinking about, what I got to do next, or who I've got to call next, or the bills that are, to go home and pay this weekend, or what I'm going to be doing to go fix up, an organization cabinet that I wanted to do this weekend. And, and that's what happens to us, ladies, is it not? We start thinking about all things that we need to be doing and things, and be in the moment. Power Moments, one last great book. If you want that, just given, I'm kind of full of books too, because like you, Deborah, I'm passionate about reading and podcasts and things like that. But COVID has really allowed me to really dial in on some of the ones that I really think are the most impactful.
What was the one that you just mentioned?
It's Power of Moments. It's you'd love it. It talks about the popsicle hotline and delivering extraordinary experiences, even with simple.
Oh, I think I've seen this book. This is the one that has like a cur jar on the front, right? Yes. Yeah, I think I have that in Audible.
Yeah.
I
But
love,
I
yes,
wanna-
exactly. Yes. It's a fun cover. I like the cover. It's like
That
wine
is so
labels.
cool.
They pull me in.
Getting lots of book plugs, Deborah. They need to, Amazon, they need to send you because we're selling lots of books today, aren't we?
Yes, we are.
I love it.
Tell John
You should
next
you should get a commission. We need a commission on these books. Actually, I just wanted to double down on what you said. It really resonated with me about, protecting the sacred glass, balls, but you don't know what those are if you don't define them. I think that word of advice is so, so beautiful. I know Deborah does this with me. It reminds me in a graceful way that if you don't know your core values, if you don't know what you're fighting for, what you're, working for, then how are what is the glass ones versus the rubber ones, right? I think that was such beautiful, and not only an analogy, because I hear it in my head. Yep, that's me. I'm juggling.
I think the other thing that you said that really struck me is health is glass for all of us. Because if you don't have your health, you don't have the luxury of everything else. And as I'm now, semi-retired and, getting up there and losing people and with COVID and just as you've talked about with your losing your husband, just the fragility of life. And if you don't take care of yourself and, working hard becomes like a dopamine thing, it's just, you're always connecting, you always got more to do. You got to, and it's never going to be enough, right? It's never going to be over. So I agree with Sarah, you've got to define them all for yourselves, but I think health for everyone has to be, centerpiece or up front, because again, without that, you're not here, or you're not here to your full potential.
You care for others.
Yeah, absolutely. So is there anything else this has just been absolutely marvelous. Is there anything that we didn't cover that you'd like to, take advantage of being here and share with us?
Well, two things very quickly to close out and let everybody end their great day. But first of all, I want to thank you all, because, even from afar in Atlanta, Georgia, I have been so motivated and inspired by what you do and tuning in. And, again, I was so fortunate, Deborah, to be in a conference where you were the keynote. And I mean, you rocked it. You were amazing. And you spoke from such heart and passion and authenticity and transparency. And so it's just a real gift to, be here again with you in this capacity. And Leslie, again, when I kept hearing, oh my gosh, Leslie's this rock star from California, we're going to get her here. She's got a daughter in Atlanta. We're going to get her here. And I got to introduce you, and then to be with you today, and again, to know the connection with John.
Right.
Sarah, girl, you are my girl. I mean, there's a kindred spirit there, and I can't wait for our relationship
100%.
So
we have more in common than you even know.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, yes.
Over
you do.
wine,
Mm,
over wine, we will talk.
yes.
is that Peloton?
I feel a mentoring relationship happening right here. It's happening.
I'm an only child, so I love my little sisters. But yeah, let me end with just one kind of neat exercise. I want everybody to just take like 15, 20 seconds and think about your age right now. Okay. What age are you numerically? Not, how we feel we are, but numerically. All right. Now I want you to envision yourself at 80 years old. And do the math. I've kind of got an easy math because 80 minus 50 is 30. Okay, so that's a 30-year span, just using me as an example. All right, but think through, when you're 80, and let's say we had this opportunity to all get back together like this, and we had 5 minutes to tell each other what has occurred in that gap, that X period, that timeline that really has defined your life, has meant the most, has just brought you such joy professionally and personally. What do you want it to be? What do you want those moments to be comprised of? Not that I got to do the to-do, and I want to get this job, or I want to do that, or I want to make that, what do you want to be able to tell the story of your life when you're 80 and you get back with the people that mean the most to you? Go write it down this weekend. Take some time, write it down. I was charged with doing this in 1995. It was probably the hardest exercise I ever did. They sent it back to me 3 times and said, no, DeAnn, get rid of your to-do list. We're not talking to-dos. We're talking big vision.
Yeah.
Share it with somebody, keep it in someplace safe. And if I can ever do anything for you, whether it's near or far, may that be a gift that guides you as it has guided me, because it was one of the most pivotal exercises. And I even share that with my children now, and to the mentor that challenged me to do that and to find the fire in my belly, because the world needs people with fire in their belly and passion to come alive and to bring others alive and to keep them alive. And so that's maybe one of the best little exercises that ever changed my life. And it's something so
Fabulous.
Oh, I love that. Well, I have one final quick question for you that I think is the perfect bookend to that exercise, which is, what's the one thing you're really looking forward to this year?
Oh gosh. I will tell you, I am looking forward to seeing my children as they get to go back into, I'm going to call it normal environments, and being able to be kids again. I admire their tenacity, how they have homeschooled, how they have cared for mommy. They have even, made lunches sometimes when I was on Zoom calls all day for me. And I'm talking about a 9 and a 12-year-old, Yeah. Yes. I know.
I have a 10 and a 13-year-old.
Like the correlations here are like giving me goosebumps.
I'm dying.
Yeah, I was 42 and I had my son. So yeah, I shouldn't have probably gone there with that, but it's real. I mean, I'm an old mom, but Deborah, I'm so glad you asked that. I am looking forward to having continued opportunities in life through the power of what we've learned to do with connections across the nation and things like that. But I just can't wait for today's youth to be able to be kids through kids and be outside and with their friends and back in schools fully and doing all the things. But I tell you what, these children are going to be some mighty resilient kids and our future leaders. So never underestimate what this challenge has really probably done for a lot of them, despite a lot of the hardships that many have endured. So
amen. That's so good. Gen X was always kind of this like, oh, latchkey kids, they had to raise themselves. We had this really interesting experience growing up too. And it has served us very well in leadership. And as Gen X steps into, I think this year it's 53% of CEO positions are held by Gen Xers, that we're seeing that. So I stand in agreement with you. I know Sarah agrees with you, because we have had those conversations. Her 2 amazing kiddos are just done of being home. And
so done. And they're almost the same age as yours. I have a 13 and a 10-year-old. They're done.
They're cooked.
Done.
Yeah.
And I agree with you.
They're already tired of their new rooms.
That is a beautiful, I know, right? That's a beautiful thing to look forward to. I am too.
I love it. Well, thank you so much for joining us. We could talk forever. This is always the part of the show where we're like, oh, we have
It was
to
just
stop.
wonderful, DeAnn. You were just fabulous. So
Yes.
great.
Been so wonderful to get to know you, to all stand in agreement with our wearing of red. And I love the call to action of reaching out to 3 of our friends, making sure that they're taking care of their health, getting them connected where they might need to. I know here we have in the Pac Northwest, we actually have an imaging center where you can go in and have your heart imaged. It's like $99. Wow. And so I would encourage everybody to go and check with your insurance, because it's $99. Andrew went a couple months ago because his dad has a lot of heart issues, and they told him, you've got the heart of a 35-year-old. Like he has this, confidence of, I have a place where I can go to check my heart out. So check that, see if you have a way to have your heart imaged in your area. Beautiful way. I mean, what a cool picture to have on the wall. Now I want to go do it. So I think I'm gonna, but be sure to connect with DeAnn. I shared her LinkedIn in here. Of course, you can connect with her on Facebook, but please lean in if you've got questions about National Wear Red Day, business planning. She's super passionate about mentoring and all things related to really building a business with heart. So, which like another connector right there. Anyways, I'm going to cry.
I know.
It's been a wonderful way to end our Friday, first Friday of February. For those of you who were not here at the beginning of the show, make sure that you get down on your calendar 2 dates this month. The 10th of February is our very first wisdom series. That is all on how to refocus when your business plan goes out the window. Christine George is leading that on the 10th at 11 a.m. Pacific time. And then our book club for February for Black History Month is Beloved by the amazing, legendary Toni Morrison. Kama and Sabrina are going to help us lead that 24th at 11 a.m. Pacific time. So get those on your calendar. We'll share more information as we've got it. But thank you everyone for joining us live and for watching the replay. And we'll see you next week. Bye.
Everybody.